Hey Ambitious Squad, it's Bruce here on your favorite YouTube fitness channel, Ambitious Muscle. Hope you guys have been having a wonderful 2021. It's been a while since I've done a fitness video, but I'm definitely getting back on those. As you guys can see, I'm doing a bit of gaming on the side, and I also want to do some review videos. So if anything, you guys can just give me a few tips on what I could possibly do in that area. Anyway, today we're going to be delving into foods that are high in estrogen that you should avoid, or avoid for the most part. Because here's the thing, there's nothing scientifically wrong with estrogen, right? Having high amounts of it is where the issue really comes in, especially for men. And also women don't want high levels of it either, especially if they're looking to build muscle. Even though women typically can get away with more estrogen than men, that's mostly due to how their biology is set up. But women are going to want to avoid eating too much, because that's going to suppress a lot of the testosterone that they could be using to build muscle. Now, before any of you go ahead and try to completely eradicate it from your diet, you want to bear in mind that it has many key roles in bodily functions. For example, it helps with preventing osteoporosis. It helps to keep your bone health in check. Obviously, it can lower the risk of breast and prostate cancer, but this is somewhat debated, so don't take me on that. As I say, I'm not a doctor, so this information is not licensed. As you know, it generally is used to develop the female sexual reproductive organs and plays a key role in the menstruation cycle. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're going to give you 8 foods that you might want to either lower the amount that you're eating now or get out of your diet. As I said, you don't want to get rid of estrogen, we just want to lower the amount in your diet. So number 1 is soy. Now, don't get the wrong impression here. I'm not trying to say that anything on this list is inherently bad for you. Just like anything else, moderation is key. And the main problem with soy products is generally stems from the fact that the high levels of estrogen that they contain can be a problem if eaten in high quantities. So it's okay to still eat your favorite soy foods, but just bear in mind that you don't want an overabundance of them, because you want to stay away from the additional estrogen that's found inside of them. So just to name a few benefits of eating soy, it can help lower your blood pressure, improve heart health, lower your blood sugar, and also improve fertility. But just bear in mind, isoflavones that are in there can cause your estrogen to spike in large quantities. So just keep that in mind. At number 2, we have dried fruits. Now, dried fruits, as I said, similar to the one before, this can be good for you. They contain a good amount of antioxidants, which, as you know, antioxidants can help to prevent certain cancers, right? And a variety of other nutritious benefits are also contained in dried fruits, right? Including things like fiber, and dried fruits such as dates, prunes, raisins, figs, and apricots, the usual stuff, right? My only drawback with these is that, apart from the estrogen raising disadvantage, they also contain high amounts of sugar, so you kind of want to avoid high quantities of them, because they can cause you to put on weight and cause other problems in addition to raising your weight, because they spike your sugar and so forth. So as before, moderation is key. At number 3, we have milk. As a lot of you know, milk is probably one of the most popularly used forms of proteins. A lot of bodybuilders and people in fitness generally drink, because it's readily available protein, it's easy to access. It's just one of those things that is a no-brainer when it comes down to food for fitness people. But as you guys know, and it's obvious what I'm going to say, it also has some disadvantages if drunk in high quantities. So for example, it contains estrogen boosting properties because it's milk. Let's be realistic here. You don't want to drink a lot of milk. Similar to soy, I know those people who say, oh, they drink soy milk instead of regular milk. The same thing. Doesn't make a difference. Milk is milk, and when I say milk, I'm referring to animal milk, which is especially going to raise your estrogen levels. As I said, milk has many benefits similar to others on this list. It's packed with many nutrients, it's high in protein, as I said before, high quality animal protein. It has many benefits to your bones, and it can also help to prevent weight gain, funnily, because it helps to keep you fuller longer because of the high amount of protein in there. And overall, it's just a very versatile ingredient. I love to add it to my oats when I'm eating, my lunch and so forth. Or if I'm making some oats porridge or anything like that, or coffee and stuff, I add it to it. But I generally try to stay away from drinking it overall. Like, honestly, it's just, as I said before, it's worth the risk if you know how to go about using it. As I said, don't use too much. You only drink it one time for the day. If you can even put something as a substitute every other day kind of thing. So you drink it maybe like 3 times in a week. You don't drink a lot of it one time kind of thing. You can get around the estrogen raising. Because as I said, a lot of these things on this list are things that people typically will eat and have access to. And they're just generally healthy for people in fitness, and it's really hard to get around estrogen raising foods because a lot of the foods that we need to get protein and so forth generally have things that cause it to raise. So as I say, moderation. I'm going to keep repeating this throughout the video. Moderation is the key here. At number 4, we have alcohol. Now this one should not get a lot of people angry, let me say that, because let's be real here, alcohol in itself is not good for you. Like, you have alcoholic beverages that contain things that are good for you, like for example certain kinds of wines and so forth can be good for your heart health and your blood pressure and things like that. But you don't want to be drinking high amounts of alcohol. I said the moderation part again. For me, I drink probably like 1 beer for the week kind of thing. I don't really mess with alcohol. The whole beer belly thing, it's not a myth, it's actually true. Alcohol is very high in sugar. So you drink a lot of it, you will start to get put on weight, and it will cause your estrogen levels to spike. So definitely something you might want to stay away from drinking a lot of. At number 6, we have dairy products. Now, as I said before, milk falls under that umbrella, so I probably don't need to go into much detail on this, but most dairy products contain milk, hence the word dairy. Like your cheese, ice cream, your frozen desserts, your whey protein, funnily, and butter, stuff like that. As I said, dairy generally means milk, so they will contain milk for the most part. So you want to stay away from large quantities of these. As I said before, similar to milk, they have the same benefits as milk, with some additionals. Typically I opt to stay away from high amounts of dairy products just because they have other underlying problems that can cause outside of your estrogen to spike. So for example, it can cause some people to become irritable, like break out in pimples and stuff like that, because a lot of them are somewhat processed, so you kind of want to stay away from eating high amounts of them. Even things like yogurt, yogurt, especially if you can get some Greek yogurt, those are very good probiotics, help with gut health and so forth. And then I say moderation, that is the main thing. Just avoid eating too many of these and you'll be fine. At number 6, we have legumes. This might come to a surprise to some people, and as I said before earlier in the video, there's a lot of things on this list that everything on this is, I can guarantee you, probably 90% of people eat, probably most of them, you know, so it's really hard to avoid, you know, estrogen boosting foods. So I'll repeat again, moderation. I just wanted to get that in your brain. Moderation is key. So with legumes, as you guys know, these are very good sources of plant-based protein. You know, a lot of vegans and vegetarians tend to eat peas and beans and chickpeas and all the different kinds of legumes. And I personally myself, I eat both meat and all. I love to eat a lot of red peas, you know, especially with my rice and so forth. They are very high in fiber. That's like one of the probably the best benefits you get from them. Many different vitamins and minerals. You know, very low sugar content. I'll say good amount of protein. Protein is not as readily available as animal protein, but it's still protein. So, you know. But as I said before, eat your legumes, but just in moderation. At number 7, we have, and this might surprise some people, but whole wheat bread and oats. A lot of grain foods mainly. These foods tend to cause your estrogen levels to spike. Funnily, it's like, how do you get around this? I'm going to repeat again, the moderation. So as you guys know, oats and grains and also these foods, they tend to be very high in fiber, which is the main benefit of them. I always try to incorporate some form of grain into my diet, especially oats. I love oats. You know, whether dried or cooked, I'll eat it. You know, but yeah, these, as I say, they can spike your estrogen levels, but just moderation. And just to sum up, don't be afraid to experiment with different foods. Do your research on different foods. Find out the ones that will least likely cause you problems. You know, give it a more benefit, more bang for your buck, and just find a workaround. You know, I'm going to be mentioning some foods that can help boost your testosterone in the next fitness video. So if you guys look forward to that, and you know, please drop a like on the video, guys. Come on, let's get those likes up. You know about that. Anyway, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys learned something new from this. You know, and you guys can add a few more foods to this. You know, tell me how you guys manage your meal prep, and you know, how do you avoid these estrogen savages. You know. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Please leave a like, comment, and share the video with your friends. Last but not least, keep being ambitious.